MBR, nothing but rants, show where I find topics that I'm rather passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I am hot about.
Nothing but rants.
Hot takes.
3-point stance, we advance. Ball in my hands, I don't take no chance. Touchdown dance, that's my jam. No hot takes, this is nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. You know Brooks finna cook, let him rant. Try to do it like us, but you can't. Stay the young, going dumb with the chance. Big plays lead to even bigger bands. What's up? What's the word? What's the play? What we talking about? On the scene with the team, yeah, we popping out. MBR, let's get it, let's go. Film guy, get on ready for the show. What it is, what it ain't, what's happening? We gon' hit you with the stats and the facts, man. MBR, let's get it, let's go. Film guy, get on ready for the show. 3-point stance, we advance. Ball in my hands, I don't take no chance. Touchdown dance, that's my jam. No hot takes, this is nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Hey, shout it end zone dancing. We about to start it up, it's the anthem. That right, big rings got me handsome. Hold them up like we came for the ransom. I'm in the field, 2-minute drill. Highlight reel, let's review, what's the deal, okay? Watching footage going out of control. Buckle up, we got an hour to go, so let's go, that's straight heat. Ain't no chillin' around here, back that back, Nat Chance, how we feelin' around here? Got my whole squad in the building around here. If my name ain't on it, then I really don't care, come on. 3-point stance, we advance. Ball in my hands, I don't take no chance. Touchdown dance, that's my jam. No hot takes, this is nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. Nothing but rants. The G on the beat, hey. Yeah.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guide Network on a fabulous Sunday morning. Normally, this one's at noon. Sunday Reaction Show normally kicks off at noon for you guys. Today, not so much. Today, we're at 11:30 as the College Football Playoff Selection Committee set to announce their decision at noon today, or at least the show starts at noon today. ESPN telling me on the ticker, that's a 4-hour broadcast. No idea when those rankings are actually going to show up on the television. In the meantime, we figured we would move the Sunday Reaction Show up to 11:30 to at least get the games in before they start gallivanting about rankings, okay? I thought Championship Saturday delivered in half part, right? We had 2 good football games yesterday. One that tried to sneak into a good game in Oregon and Penn State. UNLV didn't want to show up in the cold. Probably some talking points going on to a college football playoff scenario where there's going to be some home games in some cold areas. But, man, UNLV did not want to show up Friday night. But we had a tremendous championship Saturday. And we have a confetti jar around here. Championship games that yours truly has covered. I like to surround myself with champions. I like to surround myself with dubs. Maybe one day this will be multicolored. Not just SEC championships and black and red. Not that I don't love the market that started me and the market that I will always stay true to and be in, but I like to keep them champions around me. So there we go. We added to the championship confetti pool today in championship games that we had covered, and what a tremendous one it was yesterday in the SEC championship game. We will start with there, but I will start first by asking you to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review. I know the algorithm will put us in front of a bunch of new people today. I want to make sure those new people leave entertained first and foremost, but subscribe to this network as well. Okay, so fire off in there, fire off in that chat. Have a great time in here with a bunch of fandomed people, it seems, in those comments there today. So glad to have you guys. Let's start in the SEC championship game. Let's make you wait no longer, right? The rematch of these two Titans, this time with an SEC title on the line. There's a famous, or it's maybe not famous, to me it always sticks in my mind, ain't shit changed but the name on the mail. It's a line from T.I. from back in the early or mid-aughts, right? Ain't nothing changed in that one but the score. Ain't nothing changed in that football game on tape but the score at the end of it. 30-15 was a flat-out lie in that first football game. You see 45 points on the board. If you looked at it right there, you're like, ooh, Georgia doubled them up. Scored 30 points. Man, bunch of good offense in that football game the first time around. Them two defenses on tape was scrapping, punching dudes in the mouth, both sides of the ball. Texas's defensive line is real, has been real all year long. They have earned the right to be named the number one defense in college football. Statistically, on tape, on film, the way they play, that is one of the, if not the best defense in college football. Two elite defenses going at it. I knew it was going to be that. I told y'all all week last week, the score prediction, 20-17. 20-17, rock fight. These two defenses going to go at it. Whichever offense can limit turnovers and just try to create a run game will win this football game. Guess what? Georgia won the rushing battle. Georgia won the turnover battle. Georgia won the football game, but it was far more deeper than that and far more layered than that. Texas is a big, fast, and physical football team. Everything about that going into that was known. We knew that going in. We confirmed that coming out of that. And as much as we have talked about their new purchases lately on the recruitment trail on this network, right, as early National Signing Day wrapped up, as much as we have talked about NIL and all that stuff with Texas and their recruiting class this last year, that's player acquisition, and I love player acquisition. Player acquisition is uber important in this sport. If you don't got dudes, you ain't getting rings, no doubt. But player acquisition is part one. Player retention is the other. We just got done talking about that defensive line, guys. That defensive line is filled. Take Bill Norton out. He just showed up. Shout out to DJ Bill Norton. Take Bill Norton out. He just showed up from Arizona by way of Georgia in the transfer portal. But if you look at those dudes in the middle, 88, 95, all of them, all those 6'5", 315-pound dudes, those are seniors. Those are 3-4 year guys. And guess what? They've been sitting. You know why? Because last year they had two first-round caliber football players in Murphy and Sweat that played most of the snaps. So all these dudes, these 5-stars, high caliber football players, that it was hard to get into Texas in the first place, hard to keep them in the second place, right? These dudes stayed on the roster, and they're ballers. They're going to play on Sundays, and they're big, fast, physical, and their retention strategies are just as important right now in Texas as their acquisition strategies, right? I think there are a lot of teams out here that are really good at buying players. There's a lot of them, but there's not a lot of teams that are out here really good at keeping players, right? You can't buy culture, all that shit, all the cliche stuff we talk about. It's true. You cannot buy culture. Texas has not bought it, right? You say what you want about player acquisition, right? Buying players. You got to keep them in. Texas has done a tremendous job keeping football players on that roster that are paying dividends right now for those guys in this team or on this team, right? Interior defensive line filled with old heads. Texas has made just made way too many mistakes in that football game, in that kind of football game. And I know we got a lot of fans listening today, but most of you guys are SEC football fans, and you're all too familiar with the way that game goes, right? And if you aren't, let me break it down for you. If you're somebody new to Southeastern Conference championship games, let me break it down for you. It goes one of two ways in that one. A steam engine rolls and just absolutely whips the shit out of the other one, all right? Either that happens or two steam engines collide. I mean, look at the history. The steam engine rolls. 2022 UGA over LSU. 2019 inverse, LSU over Georgia. 2017, UGA beats the hell out of Auburn in a rematch. Kerryon Johnson banged up. 2016, Bama over Florida, boat races them. The other engine, or the other style, right? Two steam engines colliding head first, okay? The last two SEC champions, or SEC championship games, And then Alabama, Georgia 2021, and Bama, Florida in 2020. Absolute wars. All various different styles, right? There's a 41-34 in there. There's a 55-50 in there. There's a 22-16, whatever the hell it was yesterday. There's one of those in there. But those are two styles of football games in this championship, right? In this conference. One of these dudes, absolute alpha, been running through the league anyways, fitting to run through your ass on championship Saturday. Or, wow, Titans, clash, boom, right? There's no in-between in this football game, and we got the latter. We got two steam engines rolling into one another on Saturday afternoon in that football game. And here's the deal. For you Texas fans, and I'm not belittling you, I'm trying to educate you about this conference, okay? Because if you think I'm a homer, Georgia, I just explained to you, Georgia's been on the other end of this second style of football game way too often. So I know, having talked to the fan base, having listened to them, having analyzed these football games, there's one thing, there's a way you lose these football games, right? In the second style, when two steam engines collide, throw the box score out. The yardage matters. It doesn't in this one. It doesn't in this style of football game. When two Titans clash and they're playing good defense, it's a game of moments and it's a game of opportunities in the box. Once you get in the red zone, if you don't punch it in, you will lose, okay? Especially if you turn the football over, all right? It's last mistake. It's biggest moments. It's making the play. Yeah, okay, yardage totals, cool. Throw them out. Throw them out, especially when you start your football game this way, Texas. You're marching the football. Marching the football, 8 plays, first drive into red zone, interception, okay? Your second and third drives go for a collective 23 plays to the UGA 24 and 23-yard lines. You settle for a field goal. Your fourth drive of the football game, you're moving it, baby. Moving it down the field. 8th play of the drive, got to settle for a field goal, miss it. Okay, so you have 4 drives to start the football game where you're chunking it up. You're doing a tremendous job moving the football. But as I just told you, in this one, it don't matter. Yardage is it's a misconstrued stat in this football game. It's about moments. And when you got into that red zone, you had 4 opportunities, you left with 9 points. That ain't gonna do it. That's not gonna do it in this football game. I know. Points were at a premium, but it's ultimately going to come back to haunt you in this football game, right? Eventually, in these games especially, the defenses, they will figure you out. They will ultimately start to lean on you, right? Those lines of scrimmages, the mismatches on the line of scrimmage will ultimately expose themselves further and further and further as the game extends, right? And if you go look at it in that second half, in my mind, and tell me if I'm wrong, in my mind, the only 2 big plays for Texas in the entire second half were a punt return, okay? And the other one was the bluff slant. It was a big touchdown, right? You ran it was like a fake bubble with 2 wide receivers and then just ran a slant in up off of it. Backside safety misses a tackle, takes it to the door. 2 had a great game. 5 had a great game, okay? And the 2-minute possession, by the way, oh my God, Ryan Wingo, what a vet play. Did you guys notice, by the way, 100% PI? 100% PI on Dalen Everett, the second one of the game, the one that put the ball in the end zone and ended up sending it in overtime. But nonetheless, Ryan Wingo stacks him immediately. Dalen Everett's in man coverage. Wingo's on top of him. It's going to be 6. It's about to be ball game. Dead ass. And Dalen Everett immediately starts to panic, but Ryan Wingo notices, oh, look, ball's underthrown. So if you go look at that replay, Ryan Wingo kind of hugs Dalen Everett and brings him in. Everett never gets his head around, so it's automatic PI. But I thought, wow, that's a freshman out here making a supremely vet play to just hook him, bring him in, draw the contact. Ball's underthrown. I either have to fight through him, which I'm not going to do right now. I'm fading back anyways, thinking the ball's going to be properly thrown. But anyways, thought it was a tremendously high IQ vet play by a young freshman to draw that personal foul. But apart from that, those 3 plays in the second half, Georgia's defense stymied the entire time. Masterful performance, and they abused for the second time. Abused Texas's offensive line. When I got home last night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm looking through all those photos of the game whilst watching the television broadcast. Do you know how many times Wisner was just like running into the asses of Texas offensive linemen. I'd say like 3/4 of his carries, guys. I mean, that's and by the way, other way too, Texas's defensive line did a lot of that to Georgia's offensive line until the second half when they had to start accounting for, maybe potential backside quarterback run. But man, what a performance by 97. Warren Brinson, Xavier McLeod, Damon Wilson, Jalen Walker, Smile Mondon, C.J. Allen, obviously Michael Williams had tremendous football games played out of this world for the second time against that unit. I'm really excited to go see what they did game plan-wise. They opened that football game in the first matchup against Texas in a 5-down front in every way they could. They played a 5-down front, and I know for some of you people, if you're not a normal subscriber of the Film Guy Network, I always do that backwards. If you're not a normal subscriber of the Film Guy Network, I might be talking over your head right now without going to the board, and I apologize for that. But Georgia played a 50-down front out of every formation and personnel package that they possibly could. Gave them 5 down every single time. 5 down with the nickel. 5 down with the outside linebacker who's bodied in a nickel, or the personnel packages in a nickel. Oh, they gave them 5 down out of 3-4 personnel. They gave them 5 down out of everything. And I'm excited to go actually look at the tape and see how many times they gave them that 5 down front. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Let's talk Gunner. Let's talk Gunner Stockton. I told you, 2 styles of SEC championship games. Steamboat or steam engine rolls, 2 steam engines collide. When 2 steam engines collide, it's about moments. It's about moments. And there was a moment, Carson Beck goes down, elbow hit, last possession of the second half or first half, Hail Mary opportunity. By the way, anybody playing results, couch coach, going, why are we not just kneeing the ball going into the half? Our dumbasses got our quarterback hurt. Bro, you're the same idiot that'd be on Twitter bitching about Mike Bobo being too conservative if he had need the ball out. So you're just that guy. You're just negative Nancy, and I'm fine with that. So if you got one of them in the chat right now, don't see your way out, but just go on, hush that one up. So Beck goes out, and by the way, we'll see. But Gunner comes back, comes into the football game, and that's a moment, right? And I get back on the field really quickly during halftime. I go upload my photos from the first half. I go right back to the field, and there is and I'm told it's Gunner, right? I get information, I get intel. I'm told it's Gunner. That's when I tweet out, if you look, hey guys, I think we're going to see Gunner here. And every time I'm in the bins, there is a state championship high school football coach who is a friend of the show. He shall remain unnamed. But he's a friend of the show. He's a state championship high school football coach. Like, this guy knows ball, okay? This ain't like some fan. Like, he's a Georgia fan, but this is a football guy, all right? Big-time high school football. Big-time state championship winner. Big-time football coach. And he sits at the same spot every time in the bins. Coach, I don't know how you get the tickets. Never asked. I might have to. Every time Georgia plays there, he's right there in front row. So I come out, find out it's Gunner. I go straight to him because I want to have a ball conversation. That's what I want to do. I don't want to talk to no media guy. I want to have a ball conversation with another verified ball knower. So I go talk to Coach. Coach, it's fixing to be Gunner. And the first thing he says to me, he pulls me, he kind of does this one, and he says, you know why I've always loved Gunner Stockton? And he's talking to me as a Georgia fan and a ball knower, but a Georgia fan first. He goes, you know why I've always loved Gunner Stockton? I love Gunner Stockton, and I've always believed if it ever were to be him that he's going to win. And do you know why? And I say, why, Coach? He goes, because it means something to him to wear that logo. It means something to him to be a Georgia Bulldog, all right? It means something to Gunner Stockton to play for this football team. And you saw it in that performance. I mean, the last snap that he takes is quintessential. I mean, it's 45 minutes to 2 hours, or like an hour and a half after this ball knower tells me this. It means something to him to wear that. And the last snap that dude takes in overtime, he's either going to score or he's going to die. And he's fine with that. And you could tell by the way he attacked the goal line, he's fine with that. I don't care what happens to me right now. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we score this football and the game is over. And the game is over. And that is him. That is everything about that dude. He loves playing for that football program, right? And I will hear people will hear that, and they'll say, but Brooks, this is the same guy that was committed to South Carolina for a very long time during his high school recruitment process, to which I would say this: you're missing the point about soldiers like Gunnar Stockton. Loyal ass soldiers like Gunnar Stockton in a world where they don't really exist. They seem not to exist, but this loyal soldier exists. And soldiers like Gunnar Stockton don't die. They're not willing to die on their sword for whatever colors are on the banner. That's not what they're there for. They're not there for colors. They're there for their brothers. That's what they're all for. And I know, oh my God, listen to this cliche rolling mother. No, it's real. It's football. That's what it is. That's a physical ass sport. It's a physical ass sport that hurts. And when you're not uber talented, when you're not 6'5", when you're not 230, when you don't have a howitzer, when you're not God's gift to the position, when you're a 4'8" runner, that's what he is. When you're a 4'8" runner, it does have to mean more to you. Your teammates have to love you more. You have to create that sense of belief through the fact that you love them as well. And it showed up as soon as they put the microphone in the kid's face for the first time in his career. The first time they put a microphone in that kid's face, what does he say? Oh, I'm just glad we can do it for the seniors. I'm just happy I knew I had to do it for these guys. He didn't say shit about himself. Never will. That kid will never talk about himself because it's all about brothership for him. And now look, is he perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right. That was one of the worst in-game decisions, the interception, one of the worst in-game decisions and obvious signs of, oh my God, he's panicking that I've seen in person. Okay. So it's not perfect at all. All right. And there are some limitations as a thrower. I think also a limitation as a thrower with regards to the length of the delivery showed up in the fumble as well. There is a lot to clean up. There is a lot of deficiencies from regards to what Carson is as a processor and a passer. However, I have to believe that if you go into a college football game with that guy as your starter, man, you're studying Haynes King. You're studying UMass. You're studying how can I design 12 totes for this guy, not 5 quarterback draws. Guys, that's anybody can run quarterback draw. Quarterback draw was in the book when Carson Beck was the quarterback. Y'all saw that a couple of times this year, okay? And that's been in the playbook. What we can't do when preparing for an SEC championship game is spend 2 weeks or a week putting in quarterback design run for Gunnar Stockton, in hopes that, or in case Carson gets hurt. No point this season have they ever installed that. Not since camp. Okay, so in the middle of that football game, Carson goes out. If anybody's expecting quarterback counter read or some mystical design quarterback run, getting an empty run a jet quarterback read or doing anything fun or creative with the quarterback, at that point in the game, you're asking way too much of everybody. All right, so at that point, it's about surviving, finding ways to win. And that's exactly what they did. Etienne's long run in that football game, massive. Obviously, Gunner's legs in the first scoring drive of the second half, absolutely massive. What a football game to watch and to be a part of as a media guy covering that one. Quick notes in this one before we move on. Holy hell, the huevos on Kirby Smart. My God. Holy. Now, I asked him about it after the football game, like, bro, running. I think at the time it's 13-13, 5.5 minutes left. Everybody got timeouts. They got the Mo. They're moving the ball. Uncle Mo done flipped on the other side with Texas, even though it was on the Georgia sideline for felt like 3 quarters. Uncle Mo over there with the Longhorns hanging out. Ball's on your own 30, 4th and 3. By the way, backup punter back there, all right? And you call a fake punt on your own 30, tied up 13-13. I realistically believe that shit might have been ball game if they don't get that. If they don't get that, Texas gets the ball. They're either scoring a touchdown or kicking a field goal. Either way, 16-13, you got your backup quarterback in, and y'all ain't moved the ball since the first drive, by the way. All right? Y'all needed a spark. And I asked him about it. I thought it was the biggest moment of the game. They ended up getting 3 points on that drive and pushing to 16-13. Texas obviously comes back down a little bit later and kicks another field goal. But holy hell, what a play call. What a play call by the coach in that moment. And to Kirby Smart's credit, as always, he said after the football game, it's a whole hell of a lot easier to make that call when you know in the headsets, everybody on the field knows we're playing with house money. We're gonna make the playoff anyways. This is not a loser go home situation, but we sure as hell would like to win it. And they end up calling that. I mean, just a tremendous play call right there. Tremendous toughness from Trevor Etienne. Kirby Smart after the football game said that, Kirby came in, or Etienne rather came into the meeting room this week and talked to the team and said, like, hey man, like, it just expressed how much this game meant to him. And I didn't have an opportunity to go to player press conferences because they split them up. Weird. So Jonathan went in with the other player media hall, and Jay Will said that there's not a happier human on the earth right now than Trevor Etienne. It's the reason he came to Georgia, right? It's the reason he left Florida to come here and to potentially play for a championship. Not just a national championship, but a conference championship. And he expressed that. And he broke code, really. He broke Georgia medical code normally. And what do I mean by that? Normally, as long as I've covered Georgia, if you're hurt, if you're like, I can't dress hurt, you dress for a week, right? And then you play the week after that. That's normally how that works. You dress for a UMass, and then you play against Georgia Tech, Roger Robinson. You dress for a Georgia Tech, and then you play for a SEC championship game. He bypassed all of that. This guy hadn't dressed since Ole Miss, and then he comes out and just a dude in this football game was the difference maker. Kirby, and I agree, after the football game, said, Dalen Everett, 2 picks, great job. Trevor Etienne was the MVP in that football game. I felt like everybody on the defense played great, Dalen included. But, man, I thought Etienne's toughness was tremendous. Now, we got a lot of people right here. I'm going to go ahead and break news. Go ahead and write the articles. Jonathan, if you're watching this, because I gave you an opportunity to come work today, you didn't. So, I'm just kidding, buddy. Dude been working. Dude been slaving all year. I'm glad he took the day off. I would have looked at him weird if he showed up here anyways. Sundays is my day. Let me cook. But anyways, if you're watching this, go ahead and prepare the articles, the ops as well. Because he said it. He said it yesterday, and I don't know if anybody noticed. I know a lot of fans watched the press conferences, but I don't know if anybody noticed. Kirby Smart yesterday, when talking about the Gunnar Stockton hit, obviously that guy, I got to remove a user. Sorry. It's NFL time. We're creeping up on NFL time, so we got everybody spamming the stream watches. Anyways, Kirby after football game was talking about Gunnar Stockton going out with the helmet, right? And if it's targeting, he gets to stay in. If it's not, he has to go out. Carson's got an elbow thing, can't grip the football, he says. So now they're in the headsets preparing, he said, did y'all hear who the third quarterback was? Preparing Puglisi to run out there and take a snap. Where's Jaden Rashada? Anybody know? He's the 4. And we've wondered all year. We've wondered all year, hey, who's the back? Like, first of all, some of y'all was out here like, who's the backup? This channel knew Gunnar Stockton was the backup. But we didn't know who was after that one. Kirby finally gave us an answer via that one. So Ryan Puglisi is currently the backup until Carson Beck gets healthy, is what that looks like to me. And that's what that sounds like to me. So, yeah. And y'all can make assumptions the way you want. Y'all going to do that. So, speaking of quarterbacks, Kyle Flood, buddy, if you're watching, why no Arch Manning? Why no Arch Manning? What are we... I didn't like this about Raiola. I don't like this about Ewers. I don't like this about any quarterback that's a lollipopper. If you out here lollipopping everything you throw, and everything just kind of hangs up in the air forever and then just takes a while to get, bro, you're going to have tips. You're going to have overthrows. You're going to have contested footballs. Like, I watched him warm up. I watched every ball come out of his hand yesterday. I don't think Quinn Ewers ripped a single ball. I don't think Quinn Ewers stood 10 toes down and ripped a single ball all Saturday. Now, I know, rotational thrower, flick of the wrist guy, lower body guy, mechanics, ground force. I know. Trust me, I know. But I also know, like, sometimes you got to stand on it and rip that shit. And he never does. He never does. He leaves balls hanging up in the air. Hey, yo. He leaves them hanging, and they get picked. And I just, against good teams, coverage is tight, and they get picked. Now, what the difference was in the first half for that offense was Texas's receivers were winning 50-50 balls. Two had a great game. Great game. Obviously, the box score said that. But, I mean, winning in the first half at the catch point, and just no quarterback run, and no, like, here's the deal. I was stunned, absolutely stunned, that Arch didn't at least get 7 plays. And here's the way they go. Run, bomb. Run, bomb. Get him out. That's it. Think about that. Get him in there. Make them worry like shit that quarterback runs coming. Because guess what? For the entire season, and if they see it in the playoffs, for the entire season, Georgia has struggled against quarterback run. They play boxes way too light, okay? And you have an advantage as a box count on the offense. We've talked about it ad nauseum on the channel this year. It's very simple, but a lot of people don't know they just don't talk box counts, okay? It's not fun. It's not hot takey, okay? But Georgia struggled with it all year. And all Kyle Flood and Texas had to do was not be afraid of hurting Quinn Ewers' feelings, because that's what it's felt like to me all year. They are very obviously just afraid to hurt his feelings, to pull him and play the other guy, because he's been good to them. And Quinn has been good to them. But guess what? The NFL sees it too. The NFL's like, all right, well, maybe he's like a second, third round quarterback, and he's a really good guy. And he's a really, really good college football player, and he's semi-accurate, and he can extend and make plays off platform, and he's that. But I don't think anybody's looking at Quinn Ewers like a top 10 pick right now. And if you are, I'm looking at you a little bit weird, okay? So I'm just wondering, like, where in the hell was Arch Manning in that football game, and why is he – why? Where? And to that point, I thought Sark lost that football game in the margins from the other guy on the sideline. And by the way, I've seen other coaches not naming Nick Saban beat a Georgia team. I've seen Ole Miss punch them in the mouth and whip their ass at the line of scrimmage. I've seen that. I've seen football teams beat Georgia. I've seen South Carolina beat Kirby Smart. Couple interceptions, pick six, all the likes. I've seen it happen. What I have not seen, apart from when Nick Saban's on the other sideline, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat, I have not seen a football coach beat Kirby Smart. Every other dude on the other sideline, whether it's Ryan Day and Kirby Smart calling a timeout when he saw a fake punt coming, and winning fourth quarter football games in that game and doing clock management and whipping him in the fourth quarter, whether it be Saturday with Steve Sarkisian, when the game is won or has an opportunity to be swayed by the guy on the sideline, if Nick Saban ain't on the other sideline, I got Kirby 100%. And guess what? Nick Saban, and that's what, it's so weird. That's what Georgia staffers were telling me, that they were kind of talking amongst each other. Hey, Saban ain't walking through that door. We're good. Joe Burrow ain't walking through that door. This ain't like everything else. We got this. We got that guy. We got this. We got the visor guy. We're good. And to an extent, to a man, every time he's matched up against anybody on the other sideline, and it's to be had. The game is to be had in the margins. Margins are won. As we kick off the college football playoff rankings, look, I told y'all, this is a 4-hour broadcast. I have no idea how long this is going to take. I'm still going through my Georgia notes, and we're 31 minutes in. So I'm going to continue with my conference championship game notes. I hope we have some admin chat in here. If you can, will you please remove some of these streamers coming in here and trying to get people in trouble like this chat. I hope we have some admins in here. I know the chat's going crazy, so hopefully you guys can help me out there. I thought Sark got outcoached in the margins. Agree to disagree. That was my opinion on that football game. Also, Coach, save the whales. Save the whales, pay the teachers. I need world peace. You going into a halftime of a tie, I think it's tied 6-3. No, they're up 6-3. Laura Rutledge asked Steve Sarkisian about the penalties, and he says, I wish they'd call some holds on them. Fam, you run outside zone. Your starting left tackle's out. Your first-round left tackle's out. Your left tackle out there is overwhelmed. Your ass is going to get called for holds. Every single one of them were egregious. Save the whales, Coach. Save the whales, Coach. How about we got to stop hurting ourselves? How about we got to finish in the red zone, Coach? That's your opportunity. She wants to ask you about penalties. Say, hey, penalties be damned. We got to finish. We got to control what we can control. That's what champions do. I think it's a learning lesson for Sark. I know he's a very emotional football coach. I've seen it from him in the years past. But, hey, that was your opportunity. And that's your opportunity to go in your damn locker room and say the same shit. Hey, guys, eight penalties for 80 yards. We're hurting ourselves. But here's the deal. We have 4 possessions in the red zone and left with 9 points. We are not winning this football game doing that. We got to come out in the second half, continue to punch their ass in the mouth on the defensive side of the football. We got the momentum. Their backup quarterback's coming in. Let's go out here. Don't worry about no refs. Control what you can control. Oh, my. What a different stance than, boy, I sure wish they'd call some on them. Get the hell out of here. I'm sure they'll meet a third time. I think it's them and Oregon, and then everybody else. That's the way I feel about it. You guys can agree with me or disagree with me. I don't know. All right, let's continue. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review, and all that good stuff if you are a new listener to the network. There was only one other good football game on this weekend. SMU fights back versus Clemson, but a 54-yard field goal wins it for Clemson, and obviously a tremendous kick return by that young man. Dabo Swinney got embarrassed twice this year against Georgia and Louisville and lost to South Carolina, and now they're in the playoffs. What good for Dabo, man. I mean, honestly, nothing will make you even more self-righteous if you're Dabo Swinney than a season like that. To be honest, SMU straight up gifted them 14 points to start the football game. Here's how SMU started their chance to solidify their college football playoff hopes that we'll find out in a matter of, I don't know, maybe 3 hours. It's a 4-hour broadcast on ESPN right now. Saban's going to need like 10 cups of coffee, maybe an Adderall. But anyways, where was I at? Oh, SMU gifted them 14 points to start the football game. Here's how they started. Start out 3 and out. And not only, a fumble on the third play of the game in their own end. Third play of the game, fumble on their own end, touchdown Clemson next, I think 2 plays later. And then after that, right, so then they go 3 and out. The next possession they get it. Not only big return, let's go ahead and tack on personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Give them another 15. Boom, immediately another 7 points. I mean, can't even make it up. Just like, hey, bud, here, 14 points. Let's crawl our way back into this football game the rest of the time. Clemson's first 2 touchdown drives in this football game started inside the SMU 35-yard line. Kind of hard to play defense that way, if you're going to be honest with yourself. I don't care how anemic the weaponry is outside of my man Williams. Clemson's offense is. You ain't gonna not give up points when you do that. That offense from SMU the entire day looked hectic. Looked absolutely hectic. They were playing what I call hold your breath football. And it may be Jennings, and maybe I'm just new to watching this Jennings experiment and what's going on with SMU offense, and maybe I'll get another opportunity to watch it in round 1 of the college football playoff. But I felt like if you were an SMU Mustang fan, you just the whole time, every time he dropped back, you're just like, oh my God. No ball security at all. He's out here the whole time, the entire time. So yeah, absolutely hard to watch that one and not feel nervous if you're an SMU fan watching that one. Hold your breath football. We got hospital football and hold your breath football. Hospital football, Taylor Green. At any moment, somebody, he or a wide receiver that he led into a safety or a defender that he tried to run over, anybody could end up in the hospital. Hold your breath football. What SMU's got going on offensively. It's 3 and out, 3 and a touchdown. That's what they got going on. It's very akin, honestly, to watching South Carolina, just with way more speed and not as many big people. It's that volatile. If you know the definition of volatility. That's what their offense does. It's very, very interesting to watch. That's for sure. Hold your breath football. But to be honest with you, if you're a Clemson fan, watching that game yesterday, that's exactly how Clemson's going to have to win moving forward. You have to 100% capitalize on every single mistake that your opponent makes, and then you can't make any. Because guess what? you don't have the talent anymore. You don't have the talent anymore. And there's no doubt that Clemson is 100% the supremacy of that conference. I think they've played in 8 of the last 10 ACC titles, and they've won every single time they've been there. Think about that. They've won 80% of the last 10 years as titles in that conference. They are the pinnacle. They are the standard in that conference. They 100% are well coached. There's no doubt about that. All right. Dabo wins games in margins no different than Kirby does, I think, right? They find ways to win every single year. They always have. Hell, one of their national title years, there's like a 41-38 overtime win over Troy at home. They win close games. They always have, even when they're championship caliber, okay? But here's the deal. They have to win every game that way now because they don't have the talent, especially at quarterback too. They're not recruiting and having the talent acquisition strategies good enough right now to just show up, roll the ball out, know that they're going to be good enough, and that's a problem. That's a problem. So they're gonna have moments of embarrassment. They're gonna have Louisville's on the schedule. They're gonna have Georgia on the schedule. They've just got to find ways to get into that conference title game, it seems. And Dabo's going to find a way to win it. But yeah, by the way, anybody asking about rankings, at any point in the next 4 hours, they could give it to us. Okay. So here's what I would do. I got it right up here in the TV, above the TV. Okay. That's right. We got multiple TVs here in Mom's basement. 3, in fact, in just this one room, 3 over there, a total of 6, a touchdown's worth of TVs up in this Mom's basement. But anyways, I got it up there. So you might as well hang out here and get real football takes and not sit here and listen to them posturing. I mean, how many times can you sit there and argue SMU Georgia's resume? You know what I mean? Or SMU Alabama's resume. How many times can you do it? So why don't you sit here, hit that like button, let me fire off these takes right here for you, baby, and we gonna talk some ball, okay? Because I promise you, this right here, it's the shit. It's the shit. It's the way. It's the place to be. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and hang out with me. I don't even know where we were at. Oh, SMU, Clemson. As for SMU, I think you're gonna be safe. We haven't seen a top team drop more than 5 spots since Georgia's lost to Ole Miss. I think they dropped 6th. I think they'll get the Ohio State treatment this weekend. And I was going to save this take. I got some other quick notes to hit on, but I want to address something right now. Everybody's doing this conference bias bullshit. I'm an SEC guy. Y'all know I am. I respect this conference. History respects this conference. Draft status respects this conference. Recruiting rankings respects this conference. Everybody but Big Ten fans respects this conference. Hell, even the ACC commissioner talked about we have more wins than any other conference against the SEC. Buddy, acknowledging the SEC supremacy is not the way to argue for your team over an SEC team. Jim Phillips, Dodo Bird, goofball. Anyways, I've been saving this take because I do have conference bias. Obviously, y'all know that. I've told you that. But here's the deal. The college football has a problem. College football has a problem. These conferences have a problem. The college football playoff has a problem. And until they go back to divisions, I think you're on the same problem. Removal of divisions screwed this entire season. Screwed our ability to truly know who the best football teams are because we have a complete schedule lottery going on. That's what we got going on. Indiana, Penn State, SMU, Texas. All right, that's everybody. That's the Big Ten. That's the ACC. That's just the Big Ten, the ACC, and the SEC. Those 3 teams, right? Or 4 teams. Indiana, Penn State, SMU, Texas. All likely. SMU questioning. All likely going to be college football playoff acceptance. None of them have a single current top 25 win. None of them. So I am an SEC guy. But Texas, you're in here too? Texas, I mean, how? How does UGA go on the road to Bama, at Texas, at Ole Miss, have to play Tennessee, and get Florida, whilst Texas avoids LSU, avoids Bama, avoids Tennessee, avoids Ole Miss, and by the way, gets Georgia at home? How? How does one conference member have 6 current top 25 matchups and the other has 0 that they've beaten? How does that happen? I know why. You remove divisions. So now we have a schedule lottery. That's the SEC, by the way. Missouri got the same slate and didn't do shit with it. They lost games they shouldn't, didn't win games they should. So they're out. Nobody talks about them, okay? But it happened in other conferences too. How in the world Does Ohio State play Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, and Indiana? And Indiana has one opponent inside the top 60 in the football power index. How does that happen? Removal of divisions. That's how that happens. So yeah, we got awesome championship games. Best team. Buddy, we've got no way to know if anybody's good right now. A third of our college football playoff members will have not beaten a top 25 opponent. Oh, and by the way, Boise State's in the mix too. Oh, no, they beat UNLV. I'm sorry. They beat UNLV. Last game of the year, they got one of them. And they get an auto bid. They might fuck around and be 3. They might mess around and be the 3rd overall seed. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with the divisions and the lack of divisions, but I know what it's created. It's created chaos, and it's created a bunch of this, what I'm looking at right now. Everybody looking at strength of record, strength of schedule, all that bullshit, when in the reality, I think, at least in my opinion, all we're trying to do is find the best teams. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to get the 12 best teams in that joint, so the winner of it, we know, is by far the best team. And I think there are 3 high-quality, elite football teams right now. Texas, Georgia, and Oregon. Oregon at the top, okay, unblemished. And then the rest of the teams are really talented, might drum up a win, might create some chaos, probably not going to win 3 or 4 games in a row to win a national title against multiple elite matchups. So, I don't know. I just think the lack of divisions caused a bunch of problems here, a bunch of problems. And I see it. It's Greg Sankey. No, it's everybody. Tony Petitti did the dumb shit. Greg Sankey did the dumb shit. The Big 12 did the dumb shit. All of them. The ACC did the dumb shit. All of it. And we all, and look, I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. And it's awesome for like 3 or 4 schedules. 3 or 4. Georgia's schedule, elite this year. Alabama's schedule, elite this year. Filled with a bunch of great matchups. Who else? Florida obviously had a murderous haul. Ohio State's schedule was great, okay? Oregon was, It's a schedule lottery right now. And here's the even dumber shit. In the SEC, if you got one of these scheduled lottery tickets, you get it 2 times over. What? What are we doing? With rosters like in this conference, dude, with rosters this talented and coaches paid this much money, if you get a schedule where it's like, shit, all you got to do is lose to Georgia and then beat some teams outside the top 50 in FPI, buddy, we walking to the college football playoff, as did Texas. It's weird. It's weird, man. I don't like it. Give me back the divisions. I know it was great for me to cover 5 top 10 matchups this year. It was awesome, but it sure as shit ain't fair. You know what I mean? If you're into fairness, which this committee sure as shit seems to be about fairness and equality and equal representation. So if that's what it's about, then at least balance some of these schedules, because I ain't doing it. If I'm an SEC school, I'm jumping ship. I mean, why? Texas, honestly, it didn't hurt you this year, but it might in years past. Why aren't you an independent? Why aren't you like Notre Dame? Notre Dame can take a shit on their home field against Northern Illinois and then beat a bunch of unranked teams and go into the college football playoff. Why don't you do that? Georgia, why don't you do that? Georgia can't do it because they can't get their own television network. Bama couldn't do this because I don't think they could nationally pull a television audience. Texas and Notre Dame can. USC probably could. All right, so I don't know why some of these teams are just like, fuck it. Why don't we just do our own? Why don't we just pull a Notre Dame? Why don't we just, lose to Northern Illinois at home week 2 and then figure ourselves out against the likes of Virginia, Wake Forest, the service academies, and the Mountain West? Why not just do that? That sounds ideal. That sounds really ideal. I think we're actually going to start getting some rankings soon. I don't know. Who knows? Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review. Let's get into our quick notes. How about my Sun Devils? My Sun Devils, team of destiny. Kenny Dillingham, that MFing guy. All right. I love stories like this, okay? And it's very Dan Lanning. It's just a very much shorter version. Kenny Dillingham, I don't think, played high levels of elite college football. Kenny Dillingham is a lunatic. That's why he is who he is. Kenny Dillingham is obsessed. That's why he is who he is. Kenny Dillingham has probably worked 120-hour weeks for 10 decades. Or for 10 years. 10 decades is a long time. 10 years. Okay? You know why? Obsession. Obsessed about being great. And now he's obsessed about being great at a place he loves. And that is a dangerous combination. Dangerous combination. This is a guy that just ping-ponged his way as an analyst and was so freaking good. The moment he walked on, they were like, bro, the moment he walked on step, they're like, we got to find a way to get this guy like up the ranks, like really quickly. All of a sudden, offensive coordinator over at Florida State, then bops over to, bops up to Oregon with Dan Lanning, spends a year, head coach alma mater immediately. And now he's at a place that he loves. And I don't think he ever is going to leave. I don't think there's enough money in the world. The way that guy talks about and the way he speaks about that place, I don't think there's enough money in the world to make that guy leave. He wants to be Kyle Whittingham of Utah and Kenny Dillingham of Arizona State. He wants to be that version. He wants to take that program and make it, let's just pick them to win the Big 12 every single year. That's what he wants to make that program. And I think that's, what a great thing for college football. What a great thing for college football. I guess we get Ward Manuel in a minute. So they're going to talk to Ward before they actually give us the rankings. I bet that kingpin-looking MFer is going to slip up and say something he shouldn't. Hey, hit a thumbs up in the chat if you think Ward Manuel's fitting to say some shit he shouldn't before these rankings get released. Because I definitely do. Okay? So there you go. Shout out to Cam Scatterbo. I need that Amish community. I need the Amish community to get a Rumspringa, an opportunity to watch some college football. College football Rumspringa to see this Amish run Springa. I'll be here all week. Oregon continues to roll. I call that Dan Lanning playing with his food. That's what I call that. I call that Oregon playing with their food. And I know Penn State did a good job climbing back in that football game. I know Tyler Warren's a freak. I know they're a good football team. I know top to bottom, that's the top 10 roster with the top 15 coach. But he ain't in them upper echelons. I gave Steve Sarkisian shit for bitching about the referees earlier. Hey, coach, we teach as football coaches all the time. What do we talk about? We talk about composure. We talk about controlling your emotions. We talk about doing all that, right? I don't know if you saw it, but James Franklin, after losing that football game, he's in a press conference, and it's obviously pinned up in one of the alleyways or hallways of the stadium, and the Oregon band is playing their fight song in the background, and it's very, very loud. And instead of just waiting a couple minutes or waiting however long it takes to get out of the way, to get it out of the way and let the band go, he takes a chance to take a shot at the Big Ten and says, I'm off. I don't mind them celebrating, but this is kind of a JV setup. Coach, you didn't have to say that. You didn't have to embarrass your conference, man. You didn't have to do that. Okay. And look, that's what I'm saying. We ask, these coaches ask these kids all the time to have some type of, composure. And that was your opportunity. Just, 90 seconds. Just sit there with your hands reading the stat, or with the stats in your hand, read the stats and do your thing, and then move on. I don't know about that one. But hey, I thought it was awesome for James to even get there, right? And to get that program there. And I've always said his standard is to get to that every once in a while. It's not to win the Big Ten. That shouldn't be Penn State standard. There's too many other really, really high valued programs that can go out and buy much, much higher caliber rosters than even the high caliber roster that they have right now. Apparently, we're getting rankings. So let me finish up these notes. I was right, though, about that football game. Oregon, way too much speed, way too much athleticism. And by the way, UNLV did not want to show up. Guys, that was 49 minutes of tremendously timed notes, because apparently we're about to get college football playoff rankings. Oregon is the number 1 overall seed. That makes sense. I expect Georgia to be number 2 right here. So we'll see about that. My God, I couldn't have scripted that better. I mean, you would have thought I worked for ESPN. You'd have thought I known Georgia in at number 2. You'd have thought I'd have known out here that this was exactly 12:22 is exactly when they were going to roll the cards up. I didn't even got audio on the damn television. Wow, tremendously timed by your boy. I got Notre Dame at 3, the 3rd rank, but they'll be 5th overall because of the conference championships. So I'll imagine this is where we're going to run into that on this broadcast as well. They're trying to figure out, okay, now they're doing resume comparisons between the 3rd highest ranked conference champ. We're going to have a Boise State, Arizona State 3-4, I would imagine. I would imagine. Boise State handled theirs. Arizona State handled theirs. Clemson damn near lost theirs. Okay, so, and by the way, Clemson ranked lower than both of those football teams going into the weekend. Boise State and Arizona State should be 3 and should be 4. I don't understand what. It shouldn't take that long to get to that conclusion for me. Oh, Bama fans, that thing puckered right about now, ain't it, boys and girls? That thing puckered the way it ought to be on Selection Sunday. Can y'all just give it to me already? Hey, I'm going to go ahead. The chat said, I'm going to go ahead. Get a boy Brooks 3. What a week for the kid. Boise State in at 3. I mean, come on. Y'all out here dragging ass. Just go. Just go. I know y'all got a 4-hour broadcast, but I'm trying to get this over with and get my ass up upstairs, eat some good food, hang out with my wife. That's what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? We might even go pack a Zenster right quick. Don't worry. We didn't go feet for free today. You know what? I think I want this one. I think I want to go over here and I want to do my board with their board. This is how I had it shaken out, by the way. This is how I had it shaken out. Let's see how they have it shaken out. Okay, so we got this right. We got all 3 right so far. Boom, boom, boom. All right, they put Arizona State in at 4, as did your boy. All right, so here's where it got really weird for me because my rankings might be different for them. All right, so now we have to get into overall seeding. I think Notre Dame's going to be the 5 right here because Penn State lost pretty convincingly this weekend. We finna find out whether or not the college football playoff committee was factor cap right here with regards to we're not going to punish or we are going to punish conference title games and conference participants right here because going into the week, I believe Notre Dame was ranked behind Penn State. Penn State obviously loses to Oregon this weekend. By 9 points? Okay, 11 points, something like that. So we'll see right here. Who gets this 5 seed is very, very important. Okay, very, very important. Because a lot of these simulations in this playoff committee, the first 5 weeks, every week, everyone has a take. I'd rather be the 5. I'd rather get the first round home playoff game against whoever the 12 seed is as opposed to doing what we're doing. Sometimes I think that they stay so long on this damn playoff graphic, I think the damn television's froze. Only thing that I know it ain't is because the bottom ticker's moving. Go ahead, chat. Who do you think is going to be in at 5? And ultimately, do you think Bama gets in over SMU? I personally don't think that the ACC could have WWE scripted a better way for that game to end. Clemson comes in at the overall 12 seed. So that right there is correct as well. And that, I think, does that eliminate Bama? Or could Bama potentially get the 11 here? I have Bama in at the 11, but the problem is Arizona State was ranked lower than them, so that knocks them down going into the week, and they get an automatic bid. And who else? Clemson was obviously ranked lower than them. This is a nightmare scenario. You knew one of these, outside of the top 12 rankings was going to knock you guys down. 11 and 12 get into the college football playoff here. I guess the question now becomes, is SMU. So Bama still has an avenue here. If SMU's knocked out, they're okay. Texas is the 3rd ranked team, but the 5th overall seed. So I got this wrong. This is Texas right here. Let me actually make that a blue color for you guys because I know that's easier to see on the television. Okay, so Texas is there, which means this is wrong. I should have known that. My SEC bias should have let me know that. My bad on that. My SEC bias should have definitely let me know that they're definitely going to put the SEC team in at 5 and not some Notre lame. I'm hoping you guys can see me. I'm having to bring the chat, the laptop over here to make sure everything's going well. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, guys. I really do appreciate the support on the stream today. We're in here by ourselves in the studio, so you boys out here really, really grinding. I almost rolled or spun camera one over there to our fifth camera option, but we didn't. We went blackboard instead of whiteboard today. All right, so where are we at? We are trying to decide who the sixth seed is. So who is the fourth ranked football team in college football? Is this Notre Dame? Is this Penn State? It is Penn State. Okay, so Penn State comes in here at number 6, okay, which marks them out at number 7. I would imagine Notre Dame's going in at number 7. I'm going to go ahead and put it in. By the way, pretty ideal. If you're a Georgia fan listening to this today, the 7 and 10 matchup, right, was the one you were focused on, knowing you were going to be the 2 overall seed. Okay, so the 5th ranked football team is ultimately going to get the 7 seed because of the 2 automatic bids to Boise State and Arizona State. Okay, lowest ranked Power 5 or lowest ranked Group of 5. Lowest ranked Power 4 plus the Group of 5 champ is the overall 12 seed every time. Okay, Notre Dame does indeed come in at 5, which makes them the overall 7 seed. So Georgia will get the winner of Notre Dame and whoever they play host to, which I think is going to be Indiana. And would they belt to ass that in the cold out there in South Bend? Oh man, you think you couldn't move the ball against Ohio State and Michigan, buddy? Wait until Cignetti out there getting smoked in the cold by the Irish defense. Okay, speed, length, corner. I mean, they're gonna go cover one all day. Cover one all day. No, I'm just kidding. They won't have to. They can stop the run with light boxes against Indiana. That's what every good team's been able to do to Indiana. It's why I like the story. I like Cignetti. I think he's a great football coach, but every time they play a reasonable defense with top 30 talent, they get boxed. They get their ass boxed. All right, number 8 is Ohio State, so we got that one correct. Look at the kid. Look at the kid. I did all right on this bracket here, man. All right, so Bama's definitely out. No. We're still waiting on SMU. We got to find out where they're at. If it were me, I would be standing in the room and I'd say, guys, what are we here to do? Are we here to find the best teams? Or are we here to find the most deserving? Or are we here to find the combination of both? And if we're here to find the combination of both, SMU's got to go. All right, they've got to go into the playoff. All right, also, I don't think it is healthy for the sport of college football to punish people for playing in conference championships. Going into this weekend, SMU's resume in the regular season was better than Alabama's per the committee. That's what they told us with the ranking. They play one extra game because they earned the right to do so in a college football or in a college conference championship game, and they lose on the last possession on a 54-yard field goal. There's no reason they should be kept out of the college football playoff. Tennessee does indeed come in at number 9 overall rank. Is that correct? Yep, number 9. So we got that right. What a matchup right there. Though everyone kind of saw that one coming even last week, thinking the Vols were going to have to go up to Columbus. Woo! We'll see. I mean, that's going to be a 25-degree day, December 20th. I think somebody weather me right now. Somebody weather at me right now and see what the weather is going to be up there in Columbus, Ohio. How about this matchup, this Texas-Clemson matchup? By the way, I think Clemson's got dudes in the middle to stop that run game, potentially if they're healthy. Which that's a 5-12 seed, so we'll see. But going on the road there, woo-wee, good luck. All right, who we got next? So next is the overall 8 seed, which on my rankings was Indiana. So I think this might be where Indiana comes in right here at the overall 10 spot. So we're about to find out who Georgia plays the winner of in round 2 with the overall 10 seed, I think. All right. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. If you have not subscribed, please feel free to do so. Chat is saying high of 35, low of 26. So exactly the temperature this weekend in the state of Georgia. It's why I laugh at you people. Because y'all act like the people in the South don't get no cold at all. I mean, it was freezing tits yesterday. It's freezing tits. It's kind of cold today. I mean, it was cold as shit down here yesterday. And here's the deal. I've been to Colorado. I'm a skier. You think mom builds this kind of basement without money to go skiing? No. I've been skiing, okay? It's cold. It's cold, but it's dry cold. No different than it's dry heat out there. Buddy, you walk out here, it feel like 33 degrees licked your ass. It's so moist. Hey, yo. All right, so the cold down here, it's wet cold, man. I've lived. I've been to New York. I proposed to my wife in 13-degree weather. Ain't shit. Ain't shit. Ain't shit but the clothes you wear. Now, we play football, and I know I just saw UNLV just bitch out in a cold game. I know I did. So I know I'm kind of talking both sides out of my mouth right now. But, hey, I've been in some cold. I played football in some cold. My sophomore year of high school, we played in a playoff game against Pace Academy in 13-degree wind chill. Go play ball. Go play ball, you pansy. I'm talking about some cold. I ain't going to make no excuse for it. Now, if it's a foot of snow, come on. Everybody going to struggle in that one. If it's a foot of snow. And it's a really style of play. Like, if you're out here throwing it 55 times in 18-degree weather, you're not going to do well. You got to be able to establish the run, which is what SEC football teams do. What is taking so long here? Oh, did they give it to us? No, they already gave us Indiana. So who are we waiting on? Who are we waiting on right now? We're waiting on the overall. They're debating SMU Bama. That's what they're doing. They're dragging you guys out. They're dragging you guys out right now, Bama fans. By the way, not to do it to you, but I've interacted with a lot of Bama fans this year, and I would say a substantive portion of SMU at the 11th seed. Bye-bye, Bama. All right, so I would say a substantive proportion of Bama fans, I look at their Twitter profile, and it's like hashtag Roll Tide, hashtag Cowboys, hashtag Yankees, hashtag Golden State Warriors. We know who you are. All right, but anyways, there is your college football playoff bracket. All right, let's clean these up a little bit. Notre Dame not at the 12 seed. Okay, Texas not at the 6 seed. Penn State not there. All right, college football playoff is indeed set. And what a bunch of football games we've got set up, man. I don't know which one of these matchups I like best. This one's awesome. Man, Texas got it. Texas got a route to the quarterfinals, man. And look, hey, they avoided the Texas UGA rematch until the national title. But look at Texas's path. Texas has to play a 10-3 Clemson, right? A 10 or 11 10-3, a 10-3 Clemson, okay? And then they get to play Arizona State, and I guess that's the Fiesta Bowl out west. That's not bad at all. That's not a bad path. I also think Georgia's path is relatively ideal. Okay, relatively ideal. The easiest one right here, though, is Penn State. Oh, my God, Penn State. Penn State gets to play what used to be 2 mid-majors. They get to play SMU and Boise before they go to a quarterfinal. What? That looks like their non-conference schedule. Huh? Jesus. James, damn it, Kirby. I can't wait. I can. I can definitely wait for Christian Kirby on Monday to tell me, I told you preseason, Penn State's going to get in here and get into a quarterfinal. And I can make fun of him right now because you know he ain't watching. It's Sunday. It's his day off. He's not grinding. Now, if he showed up in the chat right now, that'd be legendary. But anyways, what a route for Penn State right there. What an absolute route for these guys. Holy hell, that corner of the bracket is sinful. Ohio State, Tennessee, Oregon, 3 of the top 6 teams we think in this in this bracket, right? In this 12 teams, those are 3 of the 6 best, right? I think this team's got a realistic chance to win a title. This team's got a chance to realistically win a title. This team does. Maybe Notre Dame, maybe. All right. I mean, Penn State's route obviously looks like one now, and Texas does. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Ohio State, Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, that's 4. UGA, Notre Dame, that's 6. Penn State, 7. If you told me any of those 7 teams won a national title this year, I would be like, okay, Penn State had an easy draw. Maybe they turn Georgia over a bunch in the quarterfinal, make a national title. I don't expect them to beat whoever comes out of the other side, but maybe I can see a path of it, right? All these other teams, the same thing. I can see a path that they get there. Let's clean this up just a tad. Man, I can't get over the Penn State draw. How ideal. How ideal. All right. Y'all good? Let's go back to the desk. Let's go back to the desk. Actually, let's close here. All right. For those of you who just joined us for the first time today, okay, first of all, thank you. You probably already left if you're brand new. But if you're still here, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, okay? And damn sure make sure you subscribe to this network. We do live broadcasts like this every Monday through Thursday, okay, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock Eastern time here on this network, okay? We also do a bunch of film study. I'll have a film study on Georgia and Texas coming up probably tomorrow, okay? So that'll be available. We appreciate you guys for being here, okay? I love you. I'll see you later. Bye. By the way, that first 57 minutes of this broadcast, absolutely in fuego. Absolutely in fuego.